Welcome to Simply Embrace the Becoming You podcast. This is Brittany Rivers. Again, I am your host, your live speaker, back with another episode. We're diving into more of what it means to become the best version of yourself that God has always created you to be. And so I wanted to talk about how we can sometimes get into this place where we feel like there's just not much more to life for us. We get to this place where we feel like, God, why do you have me here? I don't feel valuable. I don't feel used. What is my purpose? I feel like I'm just wasting time. God, there's nothing there. But that could not be further from the truth. There is more. But we have to believe that there is more. That's where it all begins. We have to believe. And so I wanted to be transparent and talk about my story a little bit. So I remember this was back when I think I was in early years in college. It could actually be in high school, maybe the latter part of high school years, but I think it was my early years in college. So my dad, he took me for a walk, and we were just walking around the corner. We left the house, and he was like, let's take a walk, Britt. And so we walked around, and he asked me the question. He asked me, what do you want for your life? What is your dreams? What are your goals? What are your aspirations? And it was crazy because at that moment, I had no idea what I wanted out of life. I had no goals. I had no dreams. I had nothing that I was working towards, nothing that I even visualized. At least I didn't think I did. And so when he asked me, I had no answer. And to be honest with you, I never even asked myself those questions. And so I was left with this big question mark, like, what do I want out of life? What do I see myself doing? Who am I? What are my goals? What am I working for? I had no idea what I wanted to do. And so he asked me that. And I believe from then I began this journey. I've always been on this journey of like, God, what have you called me to do? What have you called me? Who have you called me to be? But I think at that point, I began thinking like, I'm supposed to want more out of life. But to be honest with you, at that point, even, it took a couple years. I didn't really take it serious. I didn't take my life serious as far as purpose. There were moments where I wanted more out of life. I knew that, purpose had to be something of importance, but I just didn't really take it serious. I just kind of went along with the motions, felt like everybody else had something to work for. Everyone else had something to dream about. But I felt like for some reason I couldn't be that person. I felt like, that big, beautiful box was not for me. I didn't have a right to open up and see what was inside. I didn't have permission to really explore life, to find adventure in life, to figure out, why am I here? What do I even have to offer? How can God use me? I felt like that was for everybody else but me. And so to fast forward later on, this was about 2019. I remember I was just at a really, really low point. So low to where I felt like, God, if you wanted to, really, you could just take me out of here and I would be just fine. Because why am I here? What is the purpose? I don't understand why I'm here. Life is moving. Life is happening, but I'm just at a standstill. And I was okay with it. I was like, God, really, if anything ever happened to me, I would be okay with it because what is the purpose of me being here anyway? It was just a really bad place that I was in, just full of despair, full of sorrow. I had no hope for the future, as they say. I didn't even have hope for the day. It was just like, what am I doing here? And I accepted it. I believed that lie, that my life was invaluable, that I had nothing to offer life, that I had nothing to offer people, that God really didn't have a plan for my life. Yes, I'm here, but what is the purpose? And so I believe for a lot of us, we believe that maybe, just maybe, there is more out of life for us. Maybe there are possibilities out there, but we just don't know how to get there, or maybe we haven't had the right people to cheer us on, to motivate us, to really speak to that potential, that is within us and that is on our life. But maybe for some of us, we don't believe it. We believe it's for everybody else. Everybody else, it's easy for them to do what they want to do. It's easy for them to set goals. And, maybe that person has always known what they wanted to do out of their life. Maybe, they had the right people cheering them on. Maybe they didn't have as many obstacles and all these hurdles to go through. And so I had to get out of that place. I joke about it, but I say I was in a place of absolute. And when I say absolute, I mean absolutely nothing. Like it seemed like nothing was going on. I did not give myself a chance. I didn't bank on myself at all. I didn't invest in myself at all. I didn't give myself permission at all to just simply explore who I am and who God created me to be and the possibilities that were there. It's almost like you see this green pasture, but you feel like, oh, it's not meant for me to go out there. It's not meant for me to step on that green pasture and play and lay down and explore and dance. No, I can just look at it from the window. But that couldn't be further from the truth. You also have a right to more out of life. And so for us who are believers who, truly say that we believe, that Jesus died, he died for us and he was also resurrected and he came to give us life and to give us life more abundantly. Sometimes we still get to a place to where we may say we believe it, but do we really believe it with our hearts? Do we really believe what it is that we say with our lips? Do we really believe that there is more out of life? There's more that he wants out of us. There's more that he wants us to experience. We were created not just for us. We were created to glorify our Father. We were made to glorify him and to worship him, to make an impact here on this earth. We were made to influence others. We were made to love others and to shine our light so that others can see. And if that be true, that means that there is purpose within us. That means that there is an assignment on our life that may look different from one person to another. And so it's funny how whenever we are children, we are told from our teachers in school, we're told from the people that we go to church with that you can be all that you can be. We're told by all these people around us that you can be all that you can be. The sky's the limit. You can be whatever you want to be when you grow up. You can do whatever you want to do. But somewhere along the way, as we grow up and we get older, we kind of gravitate away from that. Life happens. We have challenges. We experience things. We're around people. We change. We're influenced. And somewhere along the way, we forget to protect that part of our inner child that says you can use your imagination. You can use those things within you to explore and adventure and live life and truly be whatever you want to be. And I say for those who are believers, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. What has he put in you? What has he put in you to glorify him, to affect people around you? Sometimes we're always, as I say, we're reaching outside of ourselves. We're reaching and we're striving when really all we have to do is release who we already are. A lot of times we're asking other people for permission. We're asking other people, what do you think about me? And there's nothing wrong with that to a point. But do we really go to our Creator and say, who have you called me to be? What do you say about me? Have we really allowed him to show us our full identity in him? So before we can ever step into who we were created to be, before we can step into and receive the person that God has always intended us on being, who he saw even while we were in the womb, we have to first believe it. It starts first with our mind and believing who he says we are and believing that there is more. It all starts with a mindset of knowing, of truly knowing what God says. If God says there's more, there's more. If God says, I have more that I want for you, there's more in life that I want for you. There's more that I want you to see. There's more I want you to explore. There's more that I want you to share and to give others. There is more. We have to first believe it. And so, yes, for some, there may be more obstacles than others. For some, you may have to jump through more hoops than others. For some, your life may look different, and maybe you were given these cards that somebody else weren't given. But that does not mean that it's still not attainable for you. That still doesn't mean that it's not possible for you. It may seem harder. It may be more difficult. It may be more hurdles. It may be more things that you didn't ask for that were given to you, but that does not mean that it's not possible for you. That doesn't mean that it's not God's will, that it's not in his heart for you to want more out of life. And you should never feel bad about that. You should never feel like that you are less than, that you are invaluable than anybody else. Those insecurities that are birthed out of, what you've been given out of life, how hard it's been, maybe the family that you've been placed in, it still doesn't mean that you aren't supposed to fight for it, that you aren't supposed to make up in your mind that I'm going to go after what I want to go after. I'm going to do what God says that I can do. I'm going to accept and receive the permission that has already been given. And I'm going to say that there's more. I'm not going to stop here. Maybe for a family member, it was okay. Maybe for them, it was safe and it was comfortable. But maybe for you, God is saying, I have more for you. You don't have to accept where you've been. You don't have to even accept where you are. You can want more. Yes, be content in whatever circumstances that you're in, but you can always hope for more. You can always desire more, especially if it's things that God has already placed inside of you. If those desires inside of you that he has already put there, but yet you're submerging them, you're pressing them down, you're allowing your circumstances, you're allowing life to shrink you back from who he has called you to be. A lot of times this is out of fear. The root is fear. Maybe you feel like there's not more for you because somebody you grew up with had the opportunity, but they decided not to take the opportunity. So you feel like because they didn't accept it, it's not for you either. Maybe you feel like because what you've seen is completely different from what you actually want. And you feel like, I don't even know how to get there. Nobody has even shown me how to get there. How do I even if I wanted more, how do I even get there? I don't feel like I have the tools. I don't feel like anybody's showing me how to get there. And it's making you lack faith. It's making you hopeless. It's making you live and operate in despair instead of being hopeful. You know, a lot of times we have this resentfulness. We have this bitterness that comes from the root of fear, that comes from the root of despair, because maybe we really want these things and we feel like, God, you're not helping me get there. You're not giving me the right tools. You're not surrounding me with the right people. Look at my life. I don't even have the example of what I want. I'm not even shown. You haven't even shown me how to get there. And sometimes we can have this resentfulness and this bitterness that is birthed from that place instead of just asking him and crying out to him and say, God, I believe you put this desire in me. How do I get there? Open my eyes to see. Open my ears to hear. Help me to see you. Help me to get there, because I believe this is not just a desire of mine. I believe it's your desire. And if it is your desire, can you show me? You know, in the Bible, it says that God will give us the desires of our heart, but that doesn't mean that those are the desires of our lust, of our flesh. Those are the desires that God has put there. And I believe that there are some things that God has placed in us. And sometimes we take those desires and we use them the wrong way. We don't use it for him. We use it for the wrong reasons, or sometimes we use it and it's manipulated into something that it was never supposed to be. But those desires that are genuine and pure, I believe that God wants to use those things and he wants to tap into those things. But we have to believe that we are capable of carrying it out, that we are capable of doing it, that we are capable of getting there. And in order to do that, we need him. Maybe you're like me and you feel like, you know, there is more out of life that you want, but you don't know how to get there because life just feels so mundane. There's nothing happening. There's nothing moving. You feel like God is not using you. You feel invaluable. But maybe, just maybe, God's timing is coming. Maybe, just maybe, he wants to reveal something to you, but he needs you to believe. He needs you to open your eyes to see. Maybe you're in fear because you feel like you've wasted time. Maybe you're in fear because you feel like if you actually did find out while you were here, that it would cost you something. Maybe you feel like maybe there is more for my life and I know it, but I'm not capable of carrying it out. I'm going to fail. I'm going to let myself down. I'm going to let God down. I'm going to let other people down. Why me? So there's a quote that I've always loved. It says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And so I just want to tell you that you don't have to be in fear. You don't have to do this by yourself. You are capable, and God is able to strengthen you. He's able to carry what he's already given you. He's able to use those gifts and talents and abilities within you to do more than you could ever imagine. He's able to give you a vision. He's able to give you a dream. He's able to give you goals that are way beyond yourself. Things that you didn't even think you could dream about. You didn't even think you could attain. You didn't even think was possible for you. You can. You can do it. There is more for your life. If you're in a place where you feel stuck and you're like, I want to get out of here. I want to get out of this mindset. I want to get out of this belief system. I want to get out of this. I want to believe that there is more from my life. I want to believe that my life holds value and that it has meaning and that my life will affect people long before I'm even here. I want to know that I have more to offer. You don't have to live a life in fear. You don't have to live a life of complacency. You don't have to shrink back your life. You don't have to accept the lies that there is nothing out there for you, that if you want different, that if you want better, that if you want more, that it's not for you, that it's not attainable, that it's impossible, that it's too hard, that it's too far out there, that it's for somebody else besides you. That could not be further from the truth. I want to tell you that there is more for your life. And so I talk about this a little bit more, again, in my ebook and audiobook, but also I have a lot of content on my YouTube and Instagram page, just talking about how there is more. I'm always encouraging other people to not give up. Although I still have moments where I still have to tell myself and encourage myself that there was just a long period of time where I accepted that my life was at an end. My life has had no purpose, and that could not be further from the truth. In fact, I was on the brink of God doing a new thing in my life. I was on an end part of doing life myself and God introducing now who he is in my life and what he wanted to do in my life and what he wanted to show me. I got to a place where I was at the end of myself. I was at the end of my mindset. I was at the end of what I believed, only to embrace what he wanted to show me, what he wanted to tell me, what he wanted to reveal to me. And you can do the same. You could be at the same place. You don't have to believe that there is nothing left in your life to give, that you no longer have to be at the place that life is no longer worth the living, because it is. There is so much from your life, and there's so much more for you to see. There's so much more for you to experience, but you just have to believe it. And so thank you for listening to this episode, or if you're watching from the video version, thank you so much. And I hope you come back. I hope to inspire you to truly accept and be who God has called you to be, to simply embrace your process and know that there is more for your life. And you have permission to accept that truth. You have permission to be all that you can be.